There are shows in this world that we will never fully understand, except Ghost Adventures. We have watched every episode to build our obsession, our fandom.
Watching alongside each other because no one we know really gives a damn. Watching Zach and crew catch groundbreaking proof of the paranormal, inspiring us to explore our own interest in otherworldly phenomena. This is our podcast. We are Paranormal Putas.
Alright, what is it? Yeah. Is that Patrick Swayze, the ghost of Patrick Swayze here, trying to dirty dance with me? What's up, everybody? It's me, Leah.
And it's me, Bethany.
And we're the Paranormal Putas. Woo, woo, woo. Hey.
Is that what we are?
I think so. But hey, everybody, we're back to talk a little ghost adventures. And we're coming at you with Season 5, Episode 5, Sacramento Tunnels.
Hell yeah.
The Tunnels of Sacramento.
This episode aired on April 15th of 2011.
3 days before my birthday, 2011.
Wow. How old were you turning?
Oh my God. I have no idea. What year is it now?
So you would have been like 23-ish.
No.
2011. Because if I was 20 or 21.
Yeah, okay. Shit, I guess you're right. Oh my God. We're not here to talk about how old I am. We're here to talk about the Sacramento Tunnels and how fucking haunted they are, baby.
Hell yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Sorry. So the Sacramento has a historic underground city of sorts underneath the normal everyday Sacramento that we see. Originally, the downtown surface level was about 1 story lower than what it is now, and the entire city was raised between 1864 and 1877 to reduce the risk of flooding. And portions of the original street levels still exist in the form of like a basement and interconnecting tunnels.
Spooky.
The tunnel system was once very fairly extensive, but much of it has been gradually filled in over the years. And so the guys go in and investigate les tunnels. That's French for tunnels. Sorry, bad joke.
That's fantastic. So then let's jump into the pre-investigation, shall we? So we know where we are. Now, the guys spend really just kind of highlighting what Bethany already kind of said. We mentioned the floods, the situation there. Also, there was a plague that led to like mass graves, like to the point, right? These people weren't being buried. They were just being thrown in piles and just left there. So,
because when you have that many bodies, what do?
Throw them in a mass grave.
Throw them in a pit.
And
as Zach, kept stressing, this area, experienced a lot of flood, disease, and fire. So there's a lot of shit going down in these tunnels.
A lot of shit going down. But I think because of that too, the guys get really excited. They talk to a woman by the name of Stacy Cox, who's a historian, and she mentions that tour guests often feel a presence, and this woman was kind of weird to us.
She had a weird energy.
She had a really weird energy. She was kind of fidgety throughout the whole conversation, so it was interesting. I don't know, kind of weird vibes from some of the interviewees throughout the pre-investigation, but Stacy was one of them, and she just goes on to say that yes, people claim to feel spirits, but she says she has not experienced anything. So but the guys talk to her. She talks about, like we said, the plagues, the floods, the mass graves, but this really excites the guys. They're like, oh, we're gonna get to investigate. We're like, what did they call themselves? The I know I wrote it down.
True explorers.
The true explorers of the other side. Ooh, and I really like that.
Yeah, it was great.
So the guys get really pumped about investigating the tunnels, and they're kind of pumping me up along the way, like, ooh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be juicy. Let's see, what else did we get pre-investigation?
They just kind of stressed about the 1849 floods and fires that really decimated the area, you know. And like Leah said, they kept trying to talk to this historian, but she just did not want to talk about the darker side of the histories.
Yeah.
But then they found that train guy who I put in my notes, interview with a psychic vampire.
Oh, that's really good. Because, yeah, it's the whole bit is like they're investigating this dude. He's like a train tour guide or a train conductor. I don't really even know.
Yeah, they didn't really go too into detail with it.
They didn't, because this guy's just like giving so much info.
He's going,
like it becomes a bit, and like they're overlapping his sound bits, and like the guys are getting dizzy, and Zach's looking at the camera like, oh my god, like information overload. They show Aaron like with his head down, like exhausted.
Yeah, exhausted.
So the editing of this is like this guy is just sucking their energy, giving them nonstop information, to the point where Zach's like, no, we're good. Like,
yeah, we're done now.
We got it. But that's so funny, and it's a good bit, but this pre-investigation has a lot of bits, and that's something that I started to notice with this train conductor, because like pretty much right after that we get Zach hanging out like in the rain, and then he goes on this tangent of how all these investigations that they've had in the past where nature's incorporated, where either it rains or it floods or chemtrails in the sky marking X over them.
Over Pogdalia Island.
Yeah, like he's just talking about nature. So then they show Zach standing with his umbrella, letting the raindrops drop on his fingertips.
Feel the rain on his skin.
No one else can feel it for him. But he really is like in that moment. He's like, oh, it's going to be a good one because the rain has happened, right? And now nature's involved. So he's really just kind of incorporating all these things. And I was like, Zach is just so in tune.
He had his Hillary Duff rain come clean moment, right? Let the rain fall down on Zach Bagans.
In slow motion, please.
Yeah, it was pretty deep, bro.
I really have like a couple more bits. I don't know if you want to talk about any of them, because the bits just kind of keep coming.
Well, the next bit in my notes I had was the candy shopping. They go to like the saltwater taffy store nearby, and Zach is making jokes, pretending to be serious, you know, and he's like, we need to meet our nutritional values, get these candies, and we need snacks in this hard line of work. And so they go in and get a bunch of candy, and he doesn't let Nick get a bucket. So he's like, just tell me what you want. But then he lets Aaron get a bucket, and then Aaron drops his bucket and it spills candies everywhere, and everyone's just like, God, Aaron.
He's just trying to get this candy.
And he's just like, it's like trick-or-treating. And then he drops his bucket. I felt so bad. At that moment, I was like, I'm a total Aaron. I just like fumbling and dropping things and making everyone embarrassed and upset. I'm just like, I just want some candies.
I'm so sorry. Like, God damn it.
Woo.
Just sit down and stay down. Jesus Christ.
That's me.
That is totally Bethany.
That's why I stay in the dark all the time, in the quiet myself.
Oh my goodness. The guys also run into a group of young boys, and one of the young boys yells at Zach, "You're famous!" And Zach's like, "I sure am, kid." And then another little bit where he makes all the boys yell "Ghost Adventures," because he's like, "What are y'all gonna be watching later today?" And they're like, "Ghost Adventures!" And like he's like, "Ha kids!" And again, another little bit, but the guys are just kind of walking around town before pre-investigation bullshitting.
Yeah.
So it gave the impression
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So it gave the impression that like nothing was gonna be popping off on this episode. Anyways, to me, because usually when they do a lot of bits, it's like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh, meh. Let's see, what else? The guys talked to a couple more people. We talked to Susanna, who walks around the basement and mentions the spirit Lucy. Lucy, she doesn't really go into detail. She just said that was the name that they were picking up on. So she's like, Lucy's down here. And Lucy does come up again in the main investigation. So that's where we learn about Lucy. And Zach also talks to Sue Oh, I'll go back to Susanna really quick because Zach has a moment kind of where he feels like he gets touched in pre-investigation. But Susanna brings up like time travel and dimensions, and Zach gets really excited. He's like, "We are time travelers." He's like, "With these EVP recordings, we're picking up voices and sounds from, you know, different dimensions and different times." And he gets like real geeked out about it. And I thought that was really cute to see because he's like, "Oh my God, yes, time travel dimensions," and he gets all juiced up over it. So that was really funny to see. And then we get Sue, who Bethany's like, "She's so cute."
It was her haircut. She's so tiny.
She's a little tiny, little chubby woman with like little pixie haircut, and like
Yeah.
she just looked.
She looks kind of grumpy.
Yeah, like she had a look for sure. But she takes the guys in the theater and basically tells them about a time where an actor was on the stage and she was looking at the actor, but the actor comes down and asks Sue, "Where did that guy go? The guy that was standing in the aisle?" And Sue's like, "There was no guy here. Describe him to me." And apparently the man that he described to Sue was the old owner, who was the owner at the time that Sue started working there. So Sue's like, "I think he saw the ghost of the previous owner of the theater here." So Zach's like, "Oh, that's cool. We'll try to get a touch of that guy." And what else happens pre-investigation?
They go into the Sacramento courthouse.
Yeah.
And here we get an interviewee who doesn't want to share their name or face. So she's just like, it's like one of those old TV shows that they black her out. You know?
It's just her silhouette.
It's just her silhouette talking. But she talks about how she worked at the courthouse and people would like hear things moving around and like office supplies type stuff, just like shuffling about. Did she say anything else?
No, she really says that, but I like that because the guys weren't expecting to hear about the courthouse. So because of that, this then becomes a part of their 3-location investigation, right?
Yeah,
So,
like in the beginning of the episode, he says it's a 2-part investigation. But by the end of the episode, he was like, "And that concludes our 3-part investigation." And I was very confused because I was like, wait a minute. Also, I was confused because I thought it was going to be like 2 episodes.
Yeah, like
or
2
like
parts.
multiple episodes. Yeah.
No, that's what I thought too. So then, no, the 3 parts. So then that covers the underground, the theater, and the courthouse. And then really the last thing I have pre-investigation is really another bit. The guys are about to get like locked down or whatever, and they take a little shot with wax candy bottles.
Yeah.
They bite the top off and they drink the little sugar candy, and then that's it. I think Nick
eats his bottle.
Yeah, Nick eats the bottle. He's like, "You guys don't eat the wax." And then the lady was like, "Not now that we're not 6 years old." Like, no.
He was like, "It tastes nasty."
Yeah. So I mean, that was it. Pre-investigation, really. I don't know.
Nah, yeah, that's it. So let's move it on along.
Honorable haunts and
Skimpy scares.
Oh yeah, baby. Love them skimpy scares. And this episode really doesn't have a lot of them.
No,
not at all. So that was really exciting. But to kick it off, the first note that I made is that Aaron talks about the new Spectrum handheld camera that they're going to use on this investigation. So of course, shout out to the technology. And this is the first one with ultraviolet. Yeah. So they're using them UVs, baby, to get more on imaging.
On the spectrum.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think am I the only one with like a legit skimpy?
I have one.
Oh, okay. So my skimpy here is Aaron. Aaron hears a male voice say, "F you."
if you man.
But nobody hears it. Nobody hears that at all. So only Aaron.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't. Skimpy.
You want me to go next?
Sure.
The only skimpy that I got comes later in the episode, like more towards the end. Zach sees a shadow move, and but it does lead us into a really cool piece of evidence. But as far as that shadow moving, we don't see anything. We just have to go off Zach's word for that one.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. I remember that.
Because there's 2. There's one where he sees a shadow move, and then did you write down the other one where he sees like?
I did.
Cool.
I did. The next one I have is really a skimpy honorable. I don't have any other skimpies. Let me double check my list. Yeah, no. So this
Well,
one,
then the other skimpy would be when he sees the ghost in the doorway, and none of us get to see that.
oh, you're right.
Yeah, so then that would be the other skimpy. So the 2 times in this episode, Zach says he sees something and we don't get to see it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, you're good. Caught that. So then my next one is like a skimpy honorable. The guys get an EVP. They say I don't even remember what they said that they thought it heard like, but it's like a deep, raspy voice. And I heard, "This is true," but you really couldn't hear much of anything. Like it wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't grade A. It wasn't a very good EVP. But I thought I heard "This is true" in a deep, raspy voice. So that's kind of a skimpy honorable because we hear something, definitely something there in the audio, but we can't really make out what it's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wah, wah, wah.
But now I think it's just honorables, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let's party.
So one of the first ones that I got is when the guys are asking, "Why did you die?" Which I thought was a really funny question. Like, because I'm human and we all die. But anyways, in response, they get some loud banging.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
But that loud banging continues because I think this kicks off in the... No, they're not in the courthouse.
The underground.
Oh, okay.
They start in the underground and then they split up.
Yeah, so this starts underground, and they start hearing a lot of stuff. Like for the first 5 minutes, it feels like, of the episode, it's really just them hanging out in the underground because my first honorable is the clattering noise. Like they hear banging, they hear footsteps, they hear shuffling, they hear all types of stuff coming from above them. And it's so much movement that it even gets to the point where Zach calls the security guard to be like, "Hey, can you confirm that nobody's upstairs because the sound is just like, it's just so much." And the security guard actually takes Zach upstairs, lets him walk around the building, shows that it's been closed, that there's nobody in there. So Zach goes out of his way to prove that the sounds that they're picking up on are in fact paranormal. And it was good. Like that was such a good way, I think, to start the investigation. Like it got me hyped. Like, oh shit, this investigation is going to have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
I mean, and that was my next one too, was just talking about all the thumping and footsteps and the loud bangs and clangs and, you know, that bullshit.
Yeah, because there was a lot of it. It was wild. It was scary. And that's one of my favorite things. If you've been listening for a while, anytime a good footstep audio's picked up, I'm like, ooh, that's good. Because the sound of footsteps is so scary.
Yeah, it's very eerie, man.
So eerie. So that was really good. Let's see. I feel like you get a couple EVPs, but Zach, are we going in order?
I don't know. I'm just kind of going.
Okay. Well, then my next one is actually the shadow on camera. Is probably one of the biggest ones.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's the next one that I have noted in the honorables. So Zach's going around with the thermal imaging camera that we mentioned earlier, and he thinks he captures something, so he rewinds it. Guess what? He caught something. He caught a real good one. He caught a shadow moving.
Yeah, that shit was cool.
That shit was really cool. And it was moving like intelligently, like across the frame. It looked like a person walking by, but there was nobody there. It was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Later on, I'm kind of just going to go down the line because mine start like around after this point. So,
Okay.
Because we were writing the same things at the same time. So it was like, you got it. I'm going to write it. Later, down where they're still in the tunnels, you see a light orb behind. It was Zach's head, I thought, right?
Aaron hears EVP.
And then
no,
you see
Aaron gets one. Zach has one too.
Oh, okay.
But this one comes out from the back of Aaron's head, or like goes into the back of, or something like that.
Okay, yeah, because I guess I don't think we wrote the one that where Zach has the. Oh no, wait, I did. Shit. Okay.
Romp around.
Fine. It's fine.
Whoopsies. That's gonna be edited.
Anyways.
Zoinks. All right, where are we?
Do you want to re-explain that one that I just did?
Yeah, sure. So Aaron hears an EVP, and we get No, as Aaron hears an EVP. Jesus, this is butchered. This is butchered. So as Aaron hears an EVP, you see a light orb come out of the back of his head. So at first, the EVP is very skimpy on its own. It's not an intelligent EVP. And then with the light orb, it kind of stepped it up to an honorable because there's 2 now indicators of paranormal activity. So I kicked that EVP up to an honorable because of that orb. So I do remember that. And then...
I remember this one.
Yeah, that one was good. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was when Zach is asking just the general spirits which one they hate the most. They said, Aaron.
Yeah, they said it creepy.
Yeah.
It sounded so like, Aaron.
Yeah, it was. It was like a loud, shrill,
and that's brutal, man. Like, why y'all gotta hate Aaron?
I know.
It's crazy.
Why is Zach gonna be asking that question?
That's true too. That's true. I think a part of him wants to hear his name.
Yeah, I think so.
He just wants everybody to say Zach.
And he does hear his name eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the next one here, the guys are picking up on, they didn't hear it in the moment. And Zach even says, we're going to do something that we rarely do. And that's review our audio right now. So they plug into like a computer. He pulls up the audio and they actually capture some fucking awesome kid EVPs. Like, it sounds like a little kid saying, stop talking to me. And then a couple seconds later, you hear another kid say, where did you go? And it's so good. And they run it back to where Zach is like, this is the moment where we captured that EVP. And Zach's asking the question, do you want to talk to me or will you talk to me? And then that's where he gets the little girl EVP, stop talking to me, which I thought was great. So I was like, that's intelligent. And you can definitely hear inflection, like it is a little kid, like super eerie. So that was really, really good.
Yeah, I like that one too. That was a good one.
Yeah, hell yeah. And this is where the guys split up.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So Zach sends Aaron to the underground because duh, it's Aaron. Zach heads over to the theater and Nick heads over to the courthouse because Zach is like, the only way we're going to really get this done is if we all separate. So that's what they do. And this is what they capture on their own.
Yeah.
I have here to kind of start it out. Aaron down in the basement, he uses EM pumps so to create high intense like energy or like frequencies, because he's talking about, he really makes a vortex essentially is what Aaron does. He turns on all these EM pumps and creates so much energy that it's a vortex now, and he's trying to pull out the energies to talk to him and, you know, of course make things move and present itself. So Aaron has a little moment where he explains that to the audience, and then we jump into the guys investigating.
Yeah. Later on, Aaron gets, because of those EMF pumps, he gets a couple EVPs. One that says help and one that says fuck you. Fuck you, man. And I loved it because Zach was like, we're going to have to edit out that profanity or whatever it was. Yeah.
But then they go on to get more, and I think this is still underground, but this might actually be just right before the guys split up, because Zach's asking, what's your name, right? And they get the name Laura. So they keep getting these intelligent responses down in the basement, and this is where the mist comes out of Zach.
Yeah.
So he sees a shadow move behind Nick, and of course, because Nick's facing Zach, we don't see the shadow, but then right after that we see a little light anomaly shoot out of Zach. So it made it honorable in that moment, because again, if we don't see it, it's skimpy, but because we saw that little swivelly fly out of Zach, it became an honorable.
Yeah.
Later
on, while they're split up and Nick is in the courthouse, he's wearing the little jacket that like lights up whenever it gets like hot or cold, like the thermal jacket thing.
Yeah.
And his jacket gets a hit, and then he gets a little EVP.
Oh yeah, and that's really good too, because I think it's just a male voice.
Yeah.
I don't think that we hear what the name is, right?
No.
Yeah. But that's still really cool because his jacket goes off, and of course that's evidence. We pick up on it. The next one I have is Zach, who's in the theater. He's asking the spirit, hey, do you know Sue? And Sue's the woman that he interviewed earlier in the theater, and he gets back on the digital recorder. Or no, it's not the recorder. What's the one that speaks back like in the moment? Because we
the
hear
Ovilus?
Maybe the Ovilus or something along those lines. Because then we hear possibly.
Yeah.
And Zach's like, oh my God, it said possibly. It said possibly. Like it possibly knows who Sue is. So another intelligent response to Zach. And that's really honorable.
Yeah. Oh, wait. That was that one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then we have like 3 more. And I think it's interesting that it ended up this way because it's with each of the guys. The first one that I have here is Aaron is again alone, and he's talking about, because people were supposedly greedy who went there that wanted gold and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, screw gold. You want cash. It's all about the cash. And then he gets an EVP that says, gotta get me all the cash.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking cool because it's like, it's obviously intelligent response. It's listening to Aaron and Net's picked up that gold is no longer currency.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he knows he needs to get that cash.
That ghost is real intelligent.
Yeah.
But yeah, that EVP was scary as fuck. Like you could hear it. It was crystal clear. It was a really good EVP. The next one is with Nick in the courthouse. And it's kind of chill at first, not a lot going on. And then it's kind of crazy. Things just start moving around. He hears a bang. And it's really good evidence in the courthouse. Again, just more unexplained noises coming from all over this place. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was super cool, especially considering that woman said that that's what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes in pre-investigation, people will give you stories and none of that shit happens, So it was cool to validate her story.
Oh, for sure.
And then the last part, the last really good piece of evidence that they get is, again, Zach says he sees something. He says he sees a shadow like cross into another room, and he goes into that room. Granted, we never see the shadow, but when we go into that other room, we see a chair rocking by itself.
And that was really cool because it's dark and the camera's towards the chair and it's kind of blurred, but you can see it start to rock. And then Zach's like, holy shit, that chair's rocking by itself. Yeah. So then he turns his camera light on and it's not rocking. It stops rocking. And it's just so cool how that chair just moves on its own. And I don't know. That was really creepy to see.
Yeah. And he does a whole playback too, because he didn't realize for a minute. Like first he saw the shadow and then like he walked towards the shadow to see the thing, and then the thing was rocking. But when he did playback, you could see that it was already rocking. Yeah. It was so fucking cool.
Hell yeah. It was really cool. So, I mean, that's it for the honorables, but they had some really good evidence.
There was a
audio,
lot.
Visual, like really good stuff.
Yeah. It was really good.
Let's move it along. Zach's fashion for us! I love it. No. So this one really pretty straightforward. The first note I made is thermotop fitted.
And it's big and bold.
It's big, bold, highlighted. It looked good. I love a classic thermal. Like, I don't know, something about it, especially if you look like Zaddy. Just wear thermals 24/7. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good night.
But and then I have, during one of the bits, Zaddy is actually like in the candy store. He finds a grill and he puts it on, and it's like one of those fake like country teeth or like, goofy little plastic grills. And it looks all shiny, and he's like, oh, how do I look? And like laughing. And I'm like, I see what you're doing. I don't like it. Take it out quickly.
It's not cute. Not cute.
But we have a revisit from the sateen jacket that you really liked from the Valentine's Day episode.
I love that jacket.
That jacket is nice.
It is very nice.
And I think I really noticed it in detail this time because he wears it really quickly in the Valentine's Day episode. But in this one, we see that it has like pockets right on the pecs, and then 2 other pockets going down. Like, it has 6 pockets on the front of it.
6-pack of pockets.
A 6-pack of pockets and a zipper, and zippers like on the. It's very detailed. It is a very detailed sateen jacket, but it looks really good on Zach.
Yeah,
he can do that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had a note in the fashions, and so while they're wandering about dilly-dallying around town, it starts to storm again, like Leo was talking about the nature and shit. There's a bit of like a hailstorm too, and there's little ice balls everywhere. But anyways, Zach's umbrella flies off, and he fucking chases after that thing. But he does not catch it. It is gone with the wind. And he comes back to the camera and he's like, oh, it's gone, whatever. But I was like, damn, his hair withstood a fucking hailstorm. Like that gel did not let up, y'all. Like he was still spiky as ever.
That hair withholds any circumstances. Like, it's not going anywhere.
No.
That's amazing.
Perfectly spiked upwards in the front and plastered to his face on the sides.
Protection.
Did not budge.
That's awesome. But that's it for the fashions, man.
We're blazing through it.
Zany Zaddy says,
What? Holy shit.
yeah, baby. Let's do. We got a couple of zaddies for you.
I feel like you should do this one because it was the first one. You were like, did you get it? Did you get it?
It was such a good joke. It's a funny joke. So it's a back and forth between Zach and Aaron, and Zach kicks it off with digital recorders.
Oh, wait. Okay. So it starts with with Nick being like, remember they were explorers or whatever the fuck of the other side?
Yeah.
And he was like, and how are we going to document that? And then Zach says,
and then Zach said, okay, digital recorders, cameras, and our bait, Aaron. And it kind of stops, right? And then Aaron comes in and says, I'm always the master at that. And I looked at Bethany like, do you get it? A master bait? And we became like 11-year-old boys. And it
so
was
dumb.
Really funny.
And then, they had just a real way with words in this episode because, again, during the hailstorm, Zach is pointing out on his jacket, he was like, you can see all the ice balls. Balls. And we repeated that a few times. We were like, balls. Ice balls.
Balls.
So stupid.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I don't know this one at all.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So again, this is what he said when he was, feeling the rain come down. He said, we received another taste of her magnificence in power. In reference to Mother Nature. And then he says, it's as if she wanted us to see and feel how much of a force of nature is in dark history of Sacramento. Wait, I said that wrong. It's a long one.
It's a long one.
I'm going to redo that second part.
Do it.
He said, it's as if she wanted us to see and feel how much of a force nature is in the dark history of Sacramento.
You got real Abe Lincoln-y there.
I did. Yeah, sorry.
Sacramento.
I met Bill and Ted
In Sacramento.
at the San Dimas Mall.
That's so good.
I know our history.
So at the candy store, the guys are picking out some goodies, and to Bethany's point, right, they make a lot of comments that are just, you can insinuate, and Zach picks up a huge like jawbreaker, and he's like, we might be having a lot of licks on this investigation.
What? What? What?
What do you mean?
It's so
What do you
stupid. Like,
mean?
what compelled him to say that? Fucking weirdos.
I love it. I love it.
Me too. It's funny. Okay. So later, or blah, 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 during the pre-investigation, they're talking to, I think it was Susanna, right? The one they took the little shot with. And Zach asks her, do you think this place is haunted? And she was like, hell yeah. And then she was like, oh, sorry. And he said,
Sweetie, this is Ghost Adventures. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
and I loved that he like called her sweetie.
Yeah.
And was like, fuck it. And of course they bleeped it out. It's fucking Travel
right.
Channel, but it was just really funny.
Like, you can say it, but we're obviously going to bleep it
Yeah.
out because you really can't say it.
I just thought it was cute though. It was a cute moment.
I will do this one, but you're going to have to tell me what's happening here.
So this is when Zach locks Aaron down in the basement. And Aaron's like, no.
Okay. Yes, I remember now.
And then Zach says this.
Zach says,
Looks like he just got buried alive.
Because Zach can be a jerk sometimes to Aaron. A
Because they're-
sweet little Aaron.
a jerk all the time to Aaron. But with that, it's the last Zaddy. And that's all that we got.
Bro, that's it, man.
So,
That's all she wrote.
oh dear, just cleanse me.
Give me the power, I beg of you. Hare to a Dumbledore. Give me the power, I beg of you. Le voir monsieur de Boischelio, ce soir Etienne Bois de Moore. Hare to a Dumbledore. Wake!
Let the rain wash down. Take a big deep breath in. Let that mother sucker out. And now you're cleansed. You're free.
I've come clean.
Go about your day. You've come clean. It's been a great ride.
It has been a great ride, man. And you know what I realized? We didn't even rate this baby.
True. You're gonna have to edit that. You're gonna have to cut and drop that baby.
We're gonna have to cut and
How
chop
many
it.
claws you giving it?
I am giving this baby, I'm really going to give it about 4 claws. I think they really got some really good evidence on this episode. So really, really solid stuff from the guys. And yeah, made me feel heavy. So you know what we got to do.
I agree with you that I think it's a 4 claws as well.
Yes. Let's do
You're
it.
gonna have to do a lot of chopping. Because
I'm going to have to chop the shit out of that. To our viewers, you may want to listen to the edited version because my God.
Yeah. She didn't let me rate it. She was just like, I rate it and we're done. We're done.
I apologize. My mistake.
Your mistake indeed.
This is a nightmare. All right, everybody. It was a wild ride. I feel good. I feel cleansed. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. I'm signing off. I'm Bethany.
Because I'm going to edit this so well, no one's going to know why you're so aggressive right now. And I'm Leah.
We're signing off, and I'm Bethany.
I'm Leah.
I did it wrong. You fucked me up.
I'm going to call this the spiral.
As per usual, I'm Bethany.
And I'm Leah.
And we're signing off with two besitos.
From these Putitas.
Mother suckers.